After reaching Sekiyato Castle Museum in Chiba Prefecture's northernmost city, Noda, I began my journey into Tochigi. First, however, I would need to briefly pass through another prefecture called Ibaraki. This dam here, Sekiyato Dam, was completed in 1927 and, in 2003, was recognized as a civil engineering heritage site. There's also a sluice gate, or locks, for water vessels that used to pass through the channel. This dam and sluice reminds me of my hometown area of Seattle. Now officially in Ibaraki Prefecture, I found myself next to a recreational area called Tone River Recreation Park, an interesting location for a park. This is known as the town of Goka. With a population of just over 8,000, there's no train line here, nor is there a high school. Despite this, or perhaps because of it, I like this little town. And here's Shin Tonegawa Bashi, or New Tone River Bridge. It's quite long, at half a mile or 3/4 of a kilometer in length. Halfway across the bridge, another city in Ibaraki Prefecture is encountered, Koga. Koga is located almost exactly in the center of the Kanto Plain. It is called the Little Kyoto of the Kanto region because of its historic Old Town area. Half the city's area is used for agriculture. A brief time in the town of Sakai. 3 municipalities can be covered in southwestern Ibaraki Prefecture in just under 30 minutes. To be specific, after leaving Chiba Prefecture at the end of the first video, the series of towns and cities in Ibaraki Prefecture that I visited went like this: Goka, Koga, Sakai, Koga, Sakai, Koga. Whew! For a while longer, I would be in Koga City. When cycling through this area, there's no way to tell what town or city that I'm in unless I study a map beforehand. From this point on, it would be mostly rice paddies and wheat fields. It's so much more pleasant to cycle through regions with fresh plant life as compared to cement-covered residential and commercial areas. Roads do intersect the acres of fields, although there aren't many. Katori Shrine is cool. The lanterns around its entrance and the rice fields surrounding it make it easy to imagine what this area once may have looked like. There are about 400 Katori shrines around Japan, mostly centered around the Tone and Edo rivers. This is Kashima Shrine, distinct in that it's amongst its own group of trees. Rice plant seedlings are planted in the shallow water of rice fields during the spring season in Japan. Farmers can be seen all over the Kanto region working hard to prepare and to plant their crops. Forests cover more than half of this prefecture, and it's a leading producer of rice, strawberries, special nikori pears, garlic chives, and milk. The roads which encircle the rice paddies are a lot of fun to follow, as one can never be entirely certain how they'll wind around. Even out here in an agricultural area such as this, 13% of the population still commutes to Tokyo for work. This was the last moment of my time in Ibaraki Prefecture. I had ridden 18 kilometers through Ibaraki Prefecture. Nogi was the first town in Tochigi Prefecture that I visited. Oyama City came next. It's the most populous city in Tochigi Prefecture after the capital city of Utsunomiya. The city is almost entirely flat. The Tohoku Shinkansen runs through Oyama City along a raised railway. The line provided me with an easy path to follow while I continued my journey north. I rode alongside the Shonan Shinjuku line for a while here. These tracks have the appearance of a freight line rather than a passenger line. Soon I would be meeting up with the Omoi River and then on to Tsuga Sports Park, my final destination. Then I began my descent into the river valley below again, following Tochigi Prefectural Road number 33 Oyama Loop Line, or in Japanese, Tochigi Ken Do Sanju Go Oyama Kanjo Sen. There's a nice cycling path here, part of a larger span which was started back in the early 1980s, and which is called Tochigi Prefectural Road number 313, Watarase Retarding Ground Mibu Bicycling Path Line. For some reason, it hasn't yet been completed, but I certainly enjoyed this section of it. Here's a good view of the Omoi River. Tokugawa Ieyasu, perhaps Japan's most famous historical leader, came into contact with the Omoi River when he and his soldiers loaded boats up with provisions here. Then onto Tochigi Prefectural Road number 50 and under it. From here on to the end, it was mostly just open farmland. This little water channel is called the Toyoho River. In my mind, when I'm cycling along these rather pretty rivers, I think only of their beauty. In fact, though, many of these rivers here in the Kanto region of Japan, this one included, serve a more practical purpose, to prevent flooding. Tochigi Prefecture ranks 6th in wheat production out of the 41 prefectures which do produce wheat. Not bad. Still though, this is only 10% of what Hokkaido produces. It's interesting to see how homes are situated in and amongst the fields here, like islands in a sea of crops. Oyama Nishi High School sits all by itself out in the fields. How would it feel to be a student here, I wonder? There's a tradition in Japan of rejuvenating fields by means of fire. I'd like to learn more about this practice as I find it to be very interesting. This is the last stretch of road, upon which I rode for the last 10 kilometers or so before reaching the campsite. It is perhaps the most agricultural of all the roads from this journey, surrounded as it is on both sides by acres of wheat and rice fields. Can you imagine living here? You'd have to have a car. Hey guys, well I'm on my final stretch here and I made it. I think this time it was about the same as last, except that I took a faster route, so might have been a little bit shorter, but about 100 kilometers. And I'm happy to be here. It's just up ahead here, beyond that building there. And my knee really hurts. This was a harrowing journey. My knee is hurting from last time I fell down pretty hard. Last time I biked to this location, so yeah. I hope I'll be alright tomorrow. Oh man, it hurts. So anyway, I made it. And yeah, I'll check in tomorrow. Bye-bye. As I approached the campsite at Tsuga Sports Park, I decided to film the entire last leg of the journey. Then around the southern edge of the park and into the park itself. It was getting dark, and I was glad to be arriving. The campsite was up ahead on the right. From this point on, I had to set up the tent, but it was difficult because I couldn't find my spot. Finally, I located number 6 camping spot. It was hidden under leaves, so I couldn't see the number. And after setting up the tent and getting situated, I had a little bite to eat and a drink, and I was ready to go.